This pandemic has not been easy on our economy. First, we saw the stock market crash. Then we saw a massive unemployment rate. Then we saw huge amounts of money being printed. And then we saw millions of Americans not wanting to go back to work. Now companies are getting ready for the next hurdle, the Great Resignation, because it looks like 4 out of 10 Americans are getting ready to quit their jobs. What's up, everybody? I am Jaspreet Singh from theminorityMindset.com, where money minds rethink rich. When people tell you that we are in a weird economy right now, they're not lying. Companies across the country right now are struggling and begging to find work. They're throwing out bonuses, they're raising wages, they're doing everything they can to find work, and at the same time, we have 12.6 million Americans that are not working, that are collecting unemployment checks. This is one of the strangest dilemmas I've ever seen in my life, because right now companies are begging people to work for them and people are not going to work. Now there's a few reasons why people are choosing not to go back to work. Some people are scared of getting sick, some people have to take care of their kids or their parents, and some people just don't want to. They're making more money on unemployment than they would be from working, so why would they go back to work to make less money when they could just sit at home and play video games and make more money? I'm not saying that's right, I'm just saying that's what's going on. Now, on top of companies struggling to find new employees, companies are facing their second dilemma, the Great Resignation, because so many people are now starting to quit their jobs because they're not happy with where they're working. Just take a look at what's going on. Yahoo Finance says, the Great Resignation haunts employers trying to recover from this pandemic. NPR says, millions of workers are saying, quote, I quit from their jobs. And BBC says, the Great Resignation, how employers drove workers to quit their jobs. One thing's for sure, this pandemic has changed the way that our economy is going to work for the rest of time. And so now companies are facing their next challenge and their next hurdle through this Great Resignation. So let's talk about what's going on. But before I do that, I need you to do me a quick favor and smash that thumbs up button below. And if you haven't already, be sure to join our brand new free Discord server called the Guac Talk Community, because as we all know, extra guac is truly a symbol of extra wealth. And in this community, you can chat about all things minority mindset, from the stock market to the real estate market to cryptocurrency to all things building wealth. This community is completely free, so if you want to chat with other minority mindset thinkers, I got the link to how you can join our free Discord server in the description below. This Great Resignation is essentially people waking up and saying, wow, I don't feel fulfilled at my job. I don't like the way I'm working. I don't like how hard I'm being worked at my company, while everybody else continues to get free money from the government, while other people continue to get these other benefits and perks and get to work from home. So I want a change in my life, so I quit. BBC highlighted what's going on by interviewing a few people who are taking part in this Great Resignation. The first person they interviewed was a guy named Jonathan Caballero, who is 27 years old. He is a software developer, and he realized that life was passing by. His hair was thinning, he's 27 years old, and he doesn't want to lose this precious time in his life. So this guy, Jonathan Caballero, like many other people, were working from home during this pandemic, and then his employer told his employees, including him, that he has to come back to the office. And what he says is that he envisioned a life in which he might end his workday with a swim instead of a long drive home. So when his boss began calling people back to this office part-time, he got upset at the 45-minute commute, and he started looking for a job with better remote work options. This pandemic really changed the way people viewed their jobs, because for the first time in history, so many people had the opportunity to work from home. And so now you kind of got to choose your lifestyle. You could choose when you wanted to work out. You got to choose when you wanted to work. You got to choose when you could spend time with your family. And now if people are being forced back to work and back to their old ways, some people are realizing, hey, I'm more productive and more happy at home choosing my own schedule than I am in the office, so I don't want to have to go back to that. Nobody wants to feel like a corporate slave. And the thing about being forced to go back to the office is a lot of the time that you're working in the office, a lot of people aren't actually working. You just have to show your boss that you're in the office from 9 to 5. And then you got to sit there and have these meaningless conversations with your coworkers. You got to sit there and keep taking breaks to go drink water. You got to sit there and keep going to the bathroom so you feel like you're alive. But a lot of people feel like they're just wasting their time because you just have to be in the office for these 8 or 9 hours. But if you're at home, now you can work longer because you can choose your own hours and you can do what you want when you want. And if you want to go out and talk to people, you can go to a coffee shop or a shared work office, or you can go to your own office if your company allows for that, or you can just go to your own office in your own home. The reason why this is such a big deal is because back in 2020, in March and April, we saw the fastest unemployment spike in history because the economy shut down, and so everybody was told not to go back to work. Now we're seeing people quit their jobs at record levels. In April of 2021, we saw 4 million people quit their jobs, and that's the most amount of people that voluntarily quit their jobs in the United States in history in just 1 month. Couple that with the fact that you still have more than 12 million Americans unemployed, collecting unemployment checks, and now you have a problem. The reality is people can be picky right now. You have so many companies that won't work, and so people are looking at jobs not like they did before, but they're looking at jobs as something that fits their lifestyle. People are looking at the pay, people are looking at the lifestyle, and people are looking at how fulfilled they are at this new job. And so if these three things don't meet their job, they're not gonna take it. This is great for people because now you can be picky in your lifestyle. You can choose if you wanna go into the office every single day, or if you wanna work from home every single day, or if you want a hybrid lifestyle. And so you can be picky and choose a job that you want. This is not good news for old companies that have treated their employees like crap, because if employees feel like they're being abused by their work, well, now they're leaving. Jeremy from this article says the exact same thing. For the last 26 years, he has worked in the food service industry, and he quit his job as a general manager because of this pandemic. He saw how stressful his work was, he wasn't happy with his job, and so after 26 years, he decided to quit, and now he's looking for a complete shift in his job because he wants to do something that's more fulfilling for him, and he wants to do something that's gonna allow him to spend more time with his family. People are waking up to the idea that work is something more than just a paycheck. And that's what Wall Street Journal says, that more people than ever are starting a side hustle or they're starting a business because they want to do something that makes them feel fulfilled. Even if they're not making as much money as they were before, they want to do something that makes them happy. Now, running a business is not easy. It has a lot of glamour and a lot of coolness associated with it, but it's not for everybody. If you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not willing to hustle, if you're not willing to do whatever it takes, starting a business might not be for you. If you do have that discipline and the work ethic, then this is the best time in history to go out and start something, because we're seeing such a major shift in the workplace and our economy. Now, since we are a financial channel, here's a financial tip for all of you entrepreneurs starting a side hustle or working on your own business. Make sure you have a bank that specializes in working with small businesses, because it is going to save you a ton of time and a ton of headache. If you are looking for a bank to help you out with your side hustle or your business, you should check out our sponsor NorthOne, because NorthOne is a bank that specializes in working with entrepreneurs, and they are completely digital, so you can do everything off of your fingertips. The reason you want to work with a bank that specializes in working with entrepreneurs is because when you're running your own side hustle or your own business, you got to plan for two things. You got to plan for growth with your own business, and you got to plan for taxes. This is where NorthOne comes in handy, because they can let you automate your savings. You can create things called envelopes where you can save money for things like taxes and rent and payroll and software costs or whatever else you want. That way you don't accidentally spend too much money and then you got to scramble to find money to pay your taxes. And second, your NorthOne bank account syncs with softwares like Shopify and PayPal and QuickBooks and Stripe. That way you don't got to lose your mind trying to manage your money. Plus, NorthOne is super easy to use. If you want to deposit checks, you can do it all digitally, and if you need physical cash, you can withdraw cash from an ATM. So if you're running a side hustle or if you're running your own business, use a bank that understands entrepreneurs. That way you can save yourself hours of time, and so you can save yourself a major headache. And the best part of all is that NorthOne is giving you, Minority Mindset viewers, 1 free month of business banking with them. So if you want to learn more and see how you can get started, I got the link to how you can do that in the description below, or you can also go to get.northone.com/minoritymindset. So if you want to learn more and see all that NorthOne has to offer, I got the link to how you can do that in the description below. One of my best friends is an engineer, and for years he complained that the reason why engineering sucks is because you don't have the ability to work from home. Well, when this pandemic hit, he for the first time in history had the ability to work from home while earning an engineer salary. And so now when his company started calling him back, he had to make a decision. Is he going to stay at his work, or is he going to leave and find another work from home job? Because for the first time, you can find engineering jobs that allow you to work from home. He loves to travel, so when he found out that he didn't have to go into his office to work, he moved to Guatemala, where now he's earning dollars, earning an engineering salary, and now he's living in Guatemala, where he's spending a third of what he was spending in the United States, and he's living like a king. As of now, he negotiated an extra 3 or 6 months of working from home, but if he has to go back into the office, he's probably going to quit too. This is where people have to be able to adapt. Like here at Minority Mindset, what we saw is our team, we call them money nerds. We were just as productive working from home as we were in the office, so we created a virtual first system where now you can work from anywhere you want. You can work from home, you can work from the office, it's your choice. There's no designated desks. You can come into the office whatever time you want, you can leave whenever you want, and you can come in as many days as you want or as little as you want. If we have a meeting, you just gotta be at the meeting on time. You can do it virtually or in person, but now you have the freedom and flexibility to choose how you wanna work and where you wanna work. For me, the way I look at it is as long as the work is done, I don't care if you do the work in the office or on a beach somewhere. And this is where we are going to see a shakeup in the economy, and we are going to see old companies start to hurt because they cannot find work, because people don't want to go and work for these companies that are abusing their employees. I mean, our work environment right now is pretty crazy. We have some places where McDonald's is giving you a $500 bonus to come and start working for them, where you can earn $15 or $18 an hour just to stand at the cashier or to flip burgers. At the same time, we have millions of people that are not working, collecting unemployment checks, and now we have millions of more people that are going to be quitting their jobs because they're not happy with where they're working. This is why, although our recession is officially over on paper, the actual pain from this recession isn't, because we have a long recovery ahead. And if companies and our society cannot figure out how to cope with this changing economy, we're going to fall back even deeper into a second recession, because there are so many issues in our economy. We have this inflation issue, we have supply chain issues, we have people not working, and now we have this great resignation. And so if companies are not able to sustain themselves, if this economy cannot work on its own two legs, then we're not going to be able to continue to move forward as an economy. What we're experiencing right now is called a K-shaped recovery. What that means is that some people and some businesses have greatly benefited through this pandemic. Some people weren't really hurt by this pandemic. Some people might have lost their jobs for 6 weeks or 12 weeks, but they got a lot of unemployment, so they never really lost an income, and then they got stimulus checks on top of that. And then you had tech companies that were really benefited by this pandemic. And so if you're a tech company, or if you worked in an industry that wasn't really benefited, well, now this pandemic really helped you. And if you owned a home and you saw a lot of equity increase in your home, well, this pandemic helped you become a whole lot more wealthy, at least on paper. But then you have a lot of people that were also really hurt by this pandemic. If you're a renter and you're living paycheck to paycheck, well, now it's even harder for you to find a new rental because rent prices have skyrocketed and the price of everything around you has skyrocketed. Or if you work in the restaurant industry or in the hospitality industry and you've been worked to the bone and you weren't able to get any time off, so you worked through this pandemic, you saw a pay cut while the price of everything around you keeps going up, well, now you're hurt by this pandemic. And the businesses that did not get free money from the government, and the businesses that are not able to survive now, well, now these are the people that are hurt by this pandemic. And so this is the issue that we're seeing right now, because we're seeing a big difference between the winners and the losers in this pandemic. And this is a lot more obvious and transparent than any recession that we've really seen in the past, because now we have clear winners and clear losers through this pandemic. And it was really almost kind of luck, because if you were running a restaurant that was thriving, that depended on people going to work because they would come to your restaurant to eat during lunch, well, now people are not going back to the office and your restaurant might never go back to normal. But now if you're a tech company, well, so many more people are doing things on the internet now than they did just a couple years ago. So now you're really benefiting through this pandemic. This is why I want you to be financially educated. That way you can understand what's going on around you. That way you can benefit from the system instead of being the person that's being abused by the system. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, here's the video on how to build wealth that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, download our free money management PDF. And as always, keep hustling. Now, what's going to happen, you have 15% of your paycheck going over here. You also want 10% of your paycheck going here to your savings account. Remember, the savings account is money that you're using for emergencies only.